Can I ask you about dosage?
Sure.
Terence used to talk about the heroic dose.
Yeah.
At some points, he would say that people that talked about psychedelics, his quote unquote peers, had never taken any large doses and they were all taking small doses. I'm
Hmm.
guessing down at La Chorrera, since the supply was there, you probably had the opportunity to take large doses.
We had large doses.
Okay.
Absolutely. We
Thank
had ridiculous doses.
Thanks to thanks to you and your brother, I had my first psilocybin experience here in this loft, and thanks to Terrence, the number 5 grams was in my ears, and I
Hmm.
didn't know what to do, and I think I was on Arrowwood and checking out dosages, and when I went out to pile out what 5 grams looked like, I was terrified because it was a
Hmm.
large quantity,
Hmm.
and yet Terrence was of thought of. Large doses very infrequently. Do them in your house alone in the dark.
Total darkness,
Right.
5 grams. Right.
And so I did something close to that. I couldn't get to 5. I think it was 4.2 or 3.
Yeah.
And so
Close enough.
thanks to you brothers that we
Yeah.
probably accelerated that with the going down there to La Chorrera, the Grower's Guide. That was
Hmm.
all accelerated. So thank you for that. How do you feel about dosages, and what were your thoughts over the
Well, I
years?
think one of the things about the dose question, and one of the sort of misconceptions that people have about the mushrooms, that they're light somewhere. They're more recreational. They're easy compared to ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is the real medicine. This is where you get very deep. That's a misunderstanding. But I think that because the mushrooms are easy to use recreationally, and you can take a gram, gram and a half, go to a party, have a good time, it's all very nice. And I think a lot of people do that, and more power to them. I don't think you have to plunge into the abyss every time you take a psychedelic. You can take it, you can have a good time. Certainly better than drinking alcohol and all that. But they can do that a lot, and they can take those light doses, pretty frequently, never suspecting that just around the corner, the abyss will open up if you push it a little bit, and then it all becomes clear. There's nothing, easy or less profound about mushrooms than ayahuasca. In some ways, they're even more outrageous. But I mean, the walls will melt. The creatures start coming out of the matrix, and it's heavy stuff. And it's a real shamanic transforming experience. But I think that there is this cultural sort of notion, because so many people do take just light doses, that mushrooms are for fun, and they can be used for fun. I don't think anyone would say ayahuasca is for fun, because ayahuasca's, most people's idea of fun is not throwing up, and that's something ayahuasca does. But it's a misconception. The mushrooms are just as profound and just as strong, and can produce even more profound insights, and really should be respected like ayahuasca. They should be approached with great respect. Maybe a little fear
Yeah,
would not be out of place.
very much so. For me, I had my ayahuasca experiences first, and so I was in a ceremony with a shaman, and there was so much respect and
Yeah,
around it. Then that's how I treat my psilocybin experiences, with the same type of, there's an occasion, it's planned, that it's dark,
right.
I'm alone, it's big, it's going to be something that's I am scared, and so that's how I've been conditioned to approach it, and I quite like it that way.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that Terence talked about, and everybody's talked about, and I talk about a lot, that the importance of set and setting. People say, how can we use these things safely and still get a lot out of it? Well, pay attention to set and setting. Those are the two big variables. Plan for it, have an intention, and arrange your setting so that, number one, you're safe, and that's assured. So maybe not on the freeway, maybe not even at a rock concert or whatever. Do it in a place where no one is going to bother you. No one, at least, that you don't want to bother you. Not the neighbors, not the local constabulary, maybe your most significant other or something like that could be close by or share it. But setting is important, and intention, and that's part of the whole respect thing. Why am I doing this? What do I expect to get out of it? What are we doing this for? And then the set is really everything you bring to it, who you are, what your expectation is. It's everything. It's you. It's your mindset. Everybody's mindset is different. Terence told me once when we were young, before I'd ever taken LSD, he said, don't take LSD until you've read Psychology and Alchemy by Jung, right? And we were reading Jung at that time. He said, don't take LSD. You'll get much more out of it if you do that. Well, I hadn't read Psychology and Alchemy when I took them the first time. But later I did, and I realized what he meant. I mean, a lot of the things that came up, Psychology and Alchemy is a kind of a good map for a lot of the sort of gestalts and ideas that come up during a psychedelic experience. So setting is one thing, and set is the other variable, which is much trickier, but they're both important.
Right. I find with ayahuasca, I get a distinct, finite set of lessons, like 1, 2, 3. This is what we need to go do. Sometimes it's very related to plant symbiosis. Sometimes it's related to some relationship things I need to do. Very much usually those. I used to tell people, you're usually not being confronted with your IPO on an ayahuasca experience. It's very deep. But with psilocybin, sometimes I don't know any specific lessons afterwards. The day or two afterwards, I don't have in my mind that I need to go do this, this, and this. Is that something you hear a lot? Is that something that's typical to have the kind of different experience?
Yeah.
To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonrealacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonrealacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.